30th Street. We will begin reciting the prayer for the spreading of the teachings throughout the length and breadth of the West, which you'll find scrolling down on the opening page of the Tibet Center. By the force of the blessings of the non-fallacious three precious gems and of the truth of our pure selfless wishes, may the precious Buddhist teachings flourish and spread to the expanse of all areas throughout the length and breadth of the West. For all the people living there together with their near ones, who have engaged in the teachings and have faith and respect for them, may all conditions adverse to their practice of the pure Dharma be dispelled, and an excellent collection of favorable conditions increase like the waxing moon. And especially for those who work on methods to accomplish the flourishing and spreading of the victorious one's teachings, which are the source of benefit and happiness, may they never be oppressed by masses of interference and adverse conditions, and may this spontaneously happen just as we have hoped and wished. The Heart Sutra. Thus have I heard once. The Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of the Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a big gathering of great monks and great bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the Samadhi, which examines the Dharmas called profound illumination, and at the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, looking at the profound practice of transcendent knowledge, saw the five skandhas and their natural emptiness. Then, through the inspiration of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to Avalokiteshvara, "How should those noble ones learn who wish to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge?" And Avalokiteshvara answered, "Venerable Shariputra, whoever wishes to follow the profound practice of transcendent knowledge should look at it like this, seeing the five skandhas in their natural emptiness. Form is empty, emptiness itself is form, emptiness is not separate from form, form is not separate from emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discriminating awareness, compositional factors in consciousness are empty. Thus, all the dharmas are empty and have no characteristics. They are unborn and unceasing. They are not impure or pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, since there is emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, no discriminating awareness, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no objects of mind, no quality of sight, no quality of hearing, no quality of smelling, no quality of tasting, no quality of sensing, no quality of thought, no quality of mind consciousness. There are no nidanas from ignorance to old age and death, nor their wearing out. There is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no ending of suffering, and no path. No wisdom, no attainment, no non-attainment. Therefore, since there is no attainment, the bodhisattvas abide by means of transcendent knowledge, and since there is no obscurity of mind, they have no fear, they transcend falsity and pass beyond the bounds of sorrow. All the Buddhas who dwell in the past, present, and future by means of transcendent knowledge, fully and clearly awaken to unsurpassed truth. Therefore, the mantra of transcendent knowledge, the mantra of deep insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering should be known as truth, for there is no deception. In transcendent knowledge, the mantra is proclaimed. Tadyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisattva. O Shariputra, this is how a Bodhisattva Mahasattva should learn profound transcendent knowledge. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised the Bodhisattva Mahasattva Avalokiteshvara, saying, Good, good, O son of noble family, profound transcendent knowledge should be practiced just as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Shariputra and Avalokiteshvara, that whole gathering in the world with its gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, their hearts full of joy, praise the words of the Blessed One. Now we generate bodhicitta. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment, inspired by wisdom and compassion. Today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. With the wish to free all beings, I shall always go for refuge to the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha until I reach full enlightenment. Inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind intent on full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. As long as space endures, as long as sentient beings remain, until then may I too remain to dispel the miseries of the world. Okay, so we shall write, let's recite Om Mani Padme Hum, we'll do a rosary, and imagine breathing in, assuming all the suffering of all sentient beings, and thereby extinguishing this flame of self-cherishing in our hearts. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Mani Padme Hum. So, so there are two different things I wanted to discuss tonight. Let's begin with the book, Ethics for the New Millennium, and we had reached page 60. We had just finished 62. On a recent trip to Europe, I took the opportunity to visit the site of the Nazi death camp at Auschwitz. Even though I had heard and read a great deal about this place, I found myself completely unprepared for the experience. My initial reaction to the sight of the ovens in which hundreds of thousands of human beings were burnt was one of total revulsion. I was dumbfounded at the sheer calculation and detachment from feeling to which they bore horrifying testimony. Then, in the museum, which forms part of the visitor center, I saw a collection of shoes. A lot of them were patched or small, having obviously belonged to children and poor people. This saddened me particularly. What wrong could they possibly have done? What harm? I stopped and prayed, moved profoundly, both for the victims. 63, bottom of 63. We've just.
This is Dalai Lama.
I stopped and prayed, moved profoundly, both for the victims and for the perpetrators of this iniquity, that such a thing would never happen again. And in the knowledge that just as we all have the capacity to act selflessly out of concern for others' well-being, so do we all have the potential to be murderers and torturers. I vowed never in any way to contribute to such a calamity. So I thought we should discuss this a little bit. This whole, I stopped and prayed. And what did he pray for? That such a thing would never happen again. So we might say, what is the point of praying? I mean, such a thing did happen, and who out there is going to prevent such a thing happening, given the fact that it is we human beings who behave in this monstrous way? What do you think?
Feels like he's kind of making his own aspiration, and planting that wish in his mind. So that's how it's going to bring benefit, it seems.
I once visited Auschwitz 2 times. I was really mostly struck by the ingenuity of the perpetrators. How the perpetrators were able to be so scientific by creating the ovens. And you see the testimony of the ashes, still there today, big mound. But you pray for consciousness and transformation of the world. That we have more intentional action and thoughts, how we live.
I'm grateful and appreciative to hear His Holiness visited and perceived that personally, and that he chose to, if I heard correctly, pray for the victims and the perpetrators, and that the altruistic intention that it not ever happen again is all that one could aspire to.
So for the negative karma that they created, and definitely they're gonna go to lower realms after this. There's a huge negative karma they created. And then also people who died, looking at those shoes, and how many people, again, their rebirth. That's what I took it.
So wait, again, their rebirth. What?
This is, I can feel that His Holiness's compassion for all sentient beings. That for us too, but whatever negative karma we created, and then he hoped that this will never happen again. But the karma I'm creating too, right now in this life. I don't know how to explain it, but I felt his compassion to all sentient beings, the negative karma and the suffering of our continuous life in the samsara, the cyclic existence.
So the whole idea of, I think what you said, of contributing, bringing your thoughts to the horrendous thing that's happened, and develop this determination to work towards this never happening again, and is what we can do in respect to all the terrible things that happen in the world. We can't really do much, actually, but to acknowledge, as you say, having gone there is important, and having it affect you, and determining to work towards never engaging in or contributing to this kind of action.
I said something. One of the things that comes to mind, and maybe I have a wrong understanding, but like you have love and compassion for the transformation, but you also have wisdom and understanding that people need to protect themselves, develop an attitude of not being a victim. And a lot of what happened in World War II was people on a mass level had victim mentality. And that needs to, we have to abolish that within ourselves individually. Through politics, through community, through however you can.
But here, His Holiness is behaving in a totally individual way, determining not to in any way contribute to such a horrendous thing, and determining and praying for all. That's not, that's something that we can do right here and now as we, walk by homeless people on our way down 31st Street. And
better to give charity than to say, no, I'm not giving you anything, making the person become more angry.
Depends on your level of practice.
And here, we're not even talking about giving charity. here we're simply talking about opening our hearts. Just at that level. I think that's what's particularly poignant.
Seeing the shoes, seeing the pure innocent who were indefensible, how they became victims, is heartbreaking. Totally heartbreaking.
Can I interject? There was a book written about Nigeria and the war that happened there, and the academics who were impacted. And it impressed on me how fragile the structure of how we live is, and that one can suddenly find oneself without the things that one recognizes. And for all those people who did not run away from the conflict, my grandparents, my aunts, my uncles, who all ended up being systematically annihilated, their life suddenly changed. So the fragility of and the impermanence of what we take for granted, and that someone, I mean, I'm an ordinary person. His Holiness is an ordinary person, but yet he has a stature in the world. So to hear you read his words about visiting that horrific place that I've never gone to witness, and to hear his recollection, summation, his thoughts on the visit and what transpired there, it is deeply profound for me as an individual. Thank you.
I feel that we all have the potential to be murderers and torturers. I think that bearing that in mind, we have the capacity to act selflessly out of concern for others. But we have this other potential. And so this vow, this determination, this prayer is also to strengthen my restraint or my refraining from engaging in these ways and determining to work at developing love, compassion, and a feeling of responsibility. It's something that we have to work on. It's not something that we can read and say, yeah. No. This is, the more we recognize it, the more we dwell on it, the more we assume that responsibility to develop the selfless attitude and to really refrain from the, let's say, morally ambiguous steps that could lead to. And he's being very honest that we all have, that this is not something that we can take for granted. We have to maintain our moral compass. We have to work at it. I think that this whole book is devoted to strengthening the muscle of ethical correctness.
I have a question. Do you think praying provides that roadmap? Or do you think it falls short of that roadmap for training that muscle?
So I think that prayer is a step. And it's not that you're praying to God to take care of things. It's that you're praying that people be free of, that praying for the, as someone said, praying for the future lives of these poor people who were murdered, praying for the perpetrators. That prayer, the whole process of even thinking about the suffering that will come to the perpetrators of these horrendous acts, and praying to remove the ignorance and the evil attitudes that cause them to behave that way. I think that all that process of prayer affects you. Yes,
Okay, so like a step.
like a step.
It's acknowledging that
And you can
that
say,
human actions and motivations can go either way, right? And one of the aspects of the camps that we were talking about, it's easy to dehumanize on both sides because it was such a horrific, they had removed themselves from the humanity of it in whatever way of detachment, right? So us acknowledging that there's a potential that something like that could happen again without our focus and now.
But here we're not talking about that. Well, we're particularly bringing ourselves in.
Right.
I mean, His Holiness was very generous that he went to Auschwitz. I mean, because he has enough examples, just looking at Tibet, what took place in Tibet. I mean, growing up from parents that are Holocaust survivors, I identified with Tibetan Buddhism partly because of the atrocities that took place, and that we have to align ourselves for every just action that we can. But the atrocities that took place in Tibet, I'm sure equal that.
Yes. Yes, though there wasn't the determination to remove a people the way there was in Germany. Yes, prayer is really, we could call prayer analytical meditation. The process of prayer that we're talking about here is analytical meditation, within which you actually pray. So, events such as those which occurred at Auschwitz are violent reminders of what can happen when individuals, and by extension whole societies, lose touch with basic human feeling. But although it is necessary to have legislation and international conventions in place as safeguards against future disasters of this kind, we have all seen that atrocities continue in spite of them. Much more effective and important than such legislation is our regard for one another's feelings at a simple human level. Well, I think that's what this whole book and what the subject that we've been discussing for the last, I don't know, couple of years is. Bringing this from the sort of conceptual or historic to the individual level. Does anyone have something to say about this?
Well, it makes it part of your daily practice to figure out how to apply this in your life, in your mind as well as in your actions.
And it's only when you bring it into your daily practice that you actually bring about an effect.
Like you mentioned, giving charity to the homeless. It's a conscious act. This person had a life, this person had family, and he fell. He's human just like us, we can be in that shoes. So we donate. That's an act.
Yep. When I speak of basic human feelings, I'm not only thinking of something fleeting and vague. However, I refer to the capacity we all have to empathize with one another, which in Tibetan we call Shendudungelwa Lamisepa. Translated literally, this means the ability to bear the sight of another's suffering. Given that this is what, the inability to, given that this is what enables us to enter into and to some extent participate in others' pain, it is one of our most significant characteristics. It is what causes us to start at the sound of a cry for help, to recoil at the sight of harm done to another, to suffer when confronted with others' suffering. And it is what compels us to shut our eyes even when we want to ignore others' distress. I don't understand this last sentence. I don't know if it's... Should it be not to shut our eyes? Do you think a not is missing there?
It takes an effort of will to confront something painful.
So is the word not missing in that sentence? Take a look, Ms. Sawyer.
Yes, sir.
Tells us to shut our eyes even when we want to.
Ignore.
Dreams.
To not shut our
No,
eyes.
so the not is missing. N-O-T. Could you read the sentence over again?
Not that.
And it is what compels us to, or not to, shut our eyes even when we want to ignore others' suffering.
It could be read both ways.
I feel not is missing.
Or it could be, sometimes we shut our eyes because we don't want to deal with it.
No, but he's saying compels us to deal with it, to not shut our eyes.
Okay.
Yes?
Okay, there's a museum in Israel named Yad Vashem.
The richest.
Yeah, okay. This is a museum of the worst part of the Holocaust. And you can go there and see lampshades made out of human skin, soap that was made from Jewish, and so on. And the whole kind of, I don't know whether to say monopoly, but this is just kind of, it seems more than dehumanization, really. Okay, they didn't want the people, they made death camps to get rid of them. But to get involved in these scientific experiments and making things out of the skin, it's like I hope this is not part of it. Someone is presenting that we all have this potential
Yeah.
to be able to. Well, I mean, I hope that's not true. Of course, it's always supposed to be right, but that the extent of making lampshades out of skin.
If we have the potential, let's say that we all have the potential to cheat a little bit. Then we have the potential to stretch sort of ethical boundaries.
Oh, with a little wiggle room.
And stretching enables, greater stretching.
It's called the slippery slope.
It's called a slippery slope.
Great.
And we have to first of all acknowledge that we have the capacity, we all have, and that we have to work. I mean, we have to be clearer and clearer about ethical values. The clearer we are, the more we keep ourselves from the slippery slope. and prayer, analytical meditation are the techniques by which we sort of knead into ourselves an ethical code that prevents us from unethical behavior. But that has to be kneaded in. That's.
I myself didn't want to go. I didn't want to go to that museum, but I had elder Jewish friends who had been Holocaust victims and were settled on the kibbutz, and they said, "You have to go. We need these museums because people will forget about man's inhumanity to man. We need that. So therefore, should we practitioners, I mean, is this something we can benefit from?"
Well, I'm not saying go to the museum. I'm saying be aware of this, and be aware that our human tendencies can lead us to non-virtuous, selfish, unethical behavior. And as His Holiness said, when you have a whole community that is sort of helping you along in this attitude, it can get worse and worse. All we can do is work on ourselves. That's what we're talking about. This is not about changing societies. This is about contributing to any change of society by working at bringing about change in ourselves. That's all we're really talking about.
But there's a saying, an eye for an eye makes two people blind. So it's important that we don't get into the cycle of retribution. Find ways to manage, to deal with injustices.
Yeah, but again, we're not working at changing. The aim may be towards making the world a better place, but the understanding is that the element that I can bring change to is myself.
I was gonna say, like, how can systems hold themselves accountable when the people holding the systems up can't even hold themselves accountable?
100%.
So last week when I was coming into the building, someone was abrupt and pushed through, and I didn't allow myself to be snippy. And you commented that he was teaching me patience. And that's the choice that one has in interacting, to be kind or to allow your ego to take preference. And so I think as I've gotten older, I've become more gentle and less prone to protecting myself by being harsh. And it's a small measure of change, and it could change in a moment, but every time that choice comes, I'm grateful that I choose the peaceful path, if that's the right word.
It is. And just for the record, I'm going in the opposite direction.
And what direction is that?
When people cut in line in front of me,
That's in India.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're just gonna be a doormat. Be a carpet for those who are the train line.
My old teacher used to say that you can use anger or rebuking someone in a way that is a tool and not and not out of control. So I'm sure you do it that way.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But if you're really using, that as a tool, it's not really kind of anger, right? Because anger seems kind of uncontrolled. So I think, like, one can use that firmness, right, and that I think. But I think, I don't know, I just feel like if one is really angry, that's kind of uncontrolled and you can't really use it in its raw form to do anything useful, it seems. So.
Yes, I agree. Once it's gotten to the point of anger, you're lost. You've lost control. Yes. So I may not get angry, but something keeps me from letting that person
Yes,
kind
but
of.
you can convey a wrathful appearance without actually being wrathful.
So my wrath is tinged with anger.
I guess it depends on how long the line is.
So I'm sure I've told you all, but there was a Canadian filmmaker who was making a film on Buddhist teachers in the West, and I'm not a Buddhist teacher in the West. I'm a friend here, but he came and interviewed me, and he was traveling in this big van, that kind of thing. Motorhome, yes. And he asked when he could come to my apartment here in the city when I had one. I said, come at 3:00. And at 3:00 sharp, he was there. And he had driven in his motor home. And I said, so where'd you park? He said, I parked right in front of your home. I said, that's impossible. You never get it. He said, oh, I have very good parking karma. And I said, well, what's that? How do you get good parking karma? He said, by being nice to people, by letting people go first, by not getting angry the way I do. So I don't have very good parking karma. Just for the record.
I knew one person like that who had kind of magical parking car.
Mm-hmm.
I did. No, she in the midst of the Broadway show, ongoing theater hours, she could park a van on 47th Street and get up and walk away and come back, and it would still be there. So, I mean, it certainly exists somewhere.
Oh, he was very confident with it. He knew he had this.
So it's going to be okay.
So, yeah, I think that, I mean, he must have been doing this for many lifetimes because we can't count on it in this lifetime. But the work we have to do is on ourselves. So, here, imagine walking along a road, deserted save for an elderly person just ahead of you. Suddenly, that person trips and falls. What do? I have no doubt that the majority of readers would go over to see whether they might help. Not all, perhaps, but in admitting that not everyone would go to the assistance of another in distress, I do not mean to suggest that in those few exceptions, this capacity for empathy, which I've suggested to be universal, is entirely absent. Even in the case of those who did not, surely that... Gosh. Surely, you see my tendency to... So even in the case of those who did not, surely there will at least be the same feeling, however faint, of concern, which would motivate the majority to offer their assistance. It is certainly possible to imagine people who, after enduring years of warfare, are no longer moved at the sight of others suffering. The same could be true of those who live in places where there is an atmosphere of violence and indifference to others. It is even possible to imagine a few who would exult at the sight of another's suffering. Yet, this does not prove that the capacity for empathy is not present in such people, that we all, excepting perhaps only the most disturbed, appreciate being shown kindness suggests that however hardened we may become, the capacity for empathy remains. So here again, we can take this in parts, and we can recognize that walking down the street, we can judge ourselves. We're not judging others. We're simply looking at our tendency to run and help, our tendency to feel badly, our tendency to maybe be in a hurry and not be able to help, and see the way in which we have an opportunity to work at developing greater concern, greater responsibility.
I mean, the Buddha himself saw the suffering of the world, motivated him, inspired him to say, oh, I have to find the solution. I have to find my own personal truth. So he became the Buddha. So it's similar to when we see atrocities, we can internalize it to make ourselves better.
Yes, but sometimes we just can't help. We walk by a fire, the building is burning, and the fire trucks are there, and it's a disaster and so on, but you as an individual could help perhaps by prayer. But that's about, it's not practical.
No, but as that opening to prayer is already opening our hearts, is already seeing a situation that we can't do anything about, but wishing that these people be free of their the suffering they're experiencing.
Maybe praying will open up the space within ourselves to find solution.
Yeah.
So another area where prayer can help us. So prayer is interesting because we, as Buddhists, we tend to say we don't believe in God, and so prayer is the sort of arbitrary thing. But no, prayer, that clear wish to have things go in a way that betters the world or betters a situation, that wish in itself, the attitude that we have to bring about something better, or to wish for something better, to wish that those people be free of their difficulties, that's a positive contribution to the situation in itself.
Conditions the mind when the mind goes on. So slowly repeating that counter conditions the society, which is giving us all the opposite. So it does make a difference. And only have to work on it, the mind continues. So it's not a waste.
No, it's
what else do you do?
far better than a waste. It's a benefit.
It's a benefit.
So I'm going to bring in the other, we are at, and today is the August. Okay. So I wanted to throw in this is from Mind Training Like the Rays of the Sun, and there's from the question of Upali Sutra, the Buddha says, the variety of blossoming flowers and the magnificent radiant golden castles are not created by anyone. They are designated by thought, for the world is posited by the force of thought. So that the wonders of the world, the wonderful things that we perceive, that we imagine, but let's talk about the wonderful things that we perceive, are not created by someone. It's not as if they are necessary. They are designated, and everything, wonderful things and miserable things, whatever, are designated by the mind. The force for the world is posited by the force of thought. So it is our thoughts that make things wonderful, our thoughts that make things abominable. And I think that as we go through life, to realize how it is our thoughts that determine the quality of situations, it is not the situations themselves, is an important thing to think about. I mean, I had suggested that as we walk around, we look at the trees and the buildings and whatever, and we see them as being the basis for our naming them trees and buildings, and see that even the parts that we are viewing are not the tree or the building. The parts are the basis for our saying, oh, that's a tree. There's no tree there. It's just the basis for our naming it. And here, the world is posited by the force of thought. So these trees and buildings are not created by anyone. They are designated by thought. Someone may put a lot of bricks together, or sheetrock and studs and all the way things are built today. But it is we who then designate a house on those parts.
So designation is the naming and the quality that we bring to it. I usually think of designation just as naming.
Naming.
Naming and also the quality
Well,
that you're attributing to that which.
And then the text goes on to say, although lacking existence by way of their own nature, attachment and so forth are explained as being like a snake imputed to a coiled rope. So this quality of attachment is simply our afflicted mind viewing the object of attachment the way in the dark we would see a snake when we see a coiled rope. There is no difference between the way phenomena such as persons or things, persons such as, us, and things such as pots and pans and woolen cloth, are imputed by thought, and the way horses and elephants by a conjurer when he transforms them into such things, or the way a coiled rope at dusk is designated by thought. So in ancient India, they talked about, there are these magicians who would take a piece of stone or a piece of wood and put a spell on it or on the audience, and when you saw this stone or rock, you would see a horse or a whatever, anything. There's no horse there. It is the spell that has made you see a horse, but realizing that there is no horse, just as there is no basis for, no findable basis for attachment. There's no difference between the way phenomena such as persons or things are imputed by thought and the way horses and elephants are established by a conjurer. So I wanted to just leave you with that as something to think about as you go through life. The idea that we give meaning to, we establish, we name, we designate, we attribute qualities to all the things and the people that we interact with. That we are the creators of the worlds that we experience. Let that be part of your experience of life. And the process is the mindset that we have as we go about life is the result of the way we've been thinking and behaving in the past. So the more we change our way of thinking, the more we begin to see the world as transformed into the wonder that is a reflection of our mindset. So working at this and recognizing the mechanics and recognizing our responsibility for the world that we experience and perceive is very important. Does anyone have any question or comment?
If you admire your child and you give it love, the child becomes more beautiful because we imputed that love and admiration to the child.
But don't let any attachment seep in.
Okay, I'll work on that.
Any other? Okay, I think this might be a good place to stop.
Yeah, I'm like, Victor Navasky.
So we've been asked to pray for Victor Navadsky. Is that right?
Victor Lavatsky.
No, Mary Kathleen Holden. But that was Wednesday, so. maybe-
Sylvia Pochler. Oh, that's an I. Pitchler. Hayden Pennetier, Ronald Ewing, Victor Navadsky. Okay. So we're reciting the Sutra, the recollection of the Noble Three Jewels, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. I prostrate to the Omniscient One. Thus the Buddha, Bhagavat, Tathagata, Arhat, Sambuddha, the learned and virtuous one, the Sugata, the knower of the world, the charioteer and tamer of beings, the unsurpassable one, the teacher of devas and humans is the Buddha Bhagavat. The Tathagata is in accord with all merit. He does not waste the roots of virtue. He is completely ornamented with all patience. He is the basis of the treasures of merit. He is adorned with the minor marks. He blossoms with the flowers of the major marks. His activity is timely and appropriate. Seeing him is without disharmony. He brings true joy to those who long with faith. His knowledge cannot be overpowered. His strength cannot be challenged. He is the teacher of all sentient beings. He is the father of bodhisattvas. He is the king of noble ones. He is the guide of those who journey to the city of Nirvana. He possesses immeasurable wisdom. He possesses inconceivable confidence. His speech is completely pure. His melody is pleasing. One never has enough of seeing him. His form is incomparable. He is not stained by the realm of desire. He is not stained by the realm of form. He is not affected by the formless realm. He is completely liberated from suffering. He is completely and utterly liberated from the skandhas. He is not possessed with dhatus. His ayatanas are controlled. He is completely cut the knots. He is completely liberated from extreme torment. He is liberated from craving. He has crossed over the river. He is perfected in all the wisdoms. He abides in the wisdom with Abhagavat, whose arise in the past, present, and future. He does not abide in nirvana. He abides in the ultimate perfection. He dwells on the Buddhi where he sees all sentient beings. All these are the perfect virtues of the grace of the Buddha Bhagavan. The holy Dharma is good at the beginning, good in the middle, and good at the end. Its meaning is excellent, its words are excellent, it is uncorrupted, it is completely perfect and completely pure. It completely purifies. The Buddha, it brings complete vision. It is free from sickness. It is always timely. It directs one further. Seeing, it fulfills one's purpose. It brings discriminating insight for the wise. The Dharma which taught it is renunciation. It causes one to arrive at perfect enlightenment. It is without contradiction. It is pithy. It is trustworthy and puts an end to the journey. As for the Sangha of the great Jnana, they enter completely, they enter insightfully, they enter straightforwardly, they enter harmoniously, they are worthy of veneration, they are worthy of receiving prostration, they are a field of glorious merit, they are completely capable of receiving all gifts, they are an object of generosity. Protector who possesses great kindness, the omniscient future, the basis of oceans of merit and virtue, I prostrate to the Buddha. Pure, the cause of freedom from passion, virtuous, liberated from the lower realms. This alone is the supreme ultimate truth. I prostrate to the Dharma which is truth. Having been liberated, they show the path to liberation. They are fully dedicated to the disciplines. They are wholly filled with merit and possess virtue. I prostrate to the Sangha. I prostrate to the Buddha, the leader. I prostrate to the Dharma, the protector. I prostrate to the Sangha, the community. I prostrate respectfully and always to these three. The Buddha's virtues are inconceivable. The Dharma's virtues are inconceivable. The Sangha's virtues are inconceivable. Having faith in these inconceivable, therefore the fruitions are inconceivable. May they be born in a completely pure realm. The 8 verses on training the mind. With the determination to accomplish the highest welfare of all sentient beings, who surpass even a wish-granting dream, I will learn to hold them completely dear. Whenever I associate with others, I will learn to think of myself as the lowest amongst all, and respectfully hold others to be supreme from the very depths of my heart. In all actions I will learn to search into my mind, and as soon as a disturbing emotion arises, endangering myself and others, I will firmly face and avert it. I will learn to cherish ill-natured beings, and those oppressed by strong misdeeds and sufferings, as if I had found a precious treasure difficult to find. When others out of jealousy treat me badly, with abuse, slander, and so on, I will learn to take all loss and offer the victory to them. When the one whom I have benefited with great hope unreasonably hurts me very badly, I will learn to view that person as an excellent spiritual guide. In short, I will learn to offer to everyone without exception all help and happiness directly and indirectly, and respectfully take upon myself all harm and suffering of my mothers. I will learn to keep all these practices undefiled by the stains of the 8 worldly concerns, and by understanding all phenomena as like illusions, be released from the bondage of attachment. Now a prayer for the swift return. Exalted wisdom of all victors gathered in God, sole refuge manifest in the form of the wandering suffering roads, who loves them to God, please may our witness here today that our prayers may be fulfilled. We beseech the great torch of doctrine, accomplishing for all inspirational prayers. nor a speech of the victorious Son's teachings, spreading them to the ends of the earth by means of explanation and practice. Though holding the commitment, I will invite all beings to be my guests in unsurpassed great awakening. Yet you will withdraw the activities of the form body that serve the welfare of others. Is that worthy of the supreme among beings, the Bodhisattvas? Though impossible for you, till cyclic existence end, to abandon your commitment to liberate all beings, we beseech the new son of Nirmanakaya to swiftly return from the realm of Dharmakaya, brought forth by Bodhicitta, drawn by 7 steeds. Having reached the far limits of scholarship, religious life, and goodness, please come swiftly as an unrivaled supreme emanation, full hope of the Savior's teachings, and wish fulfillment. Return as the glory of your Sun Temple. Magnificent truth of the 3 precious jewels, Mahakala, Karmayama, and Srimati Devi, and the ocean of Dharma protectors, may you spontaneously fulfill our wish, the swift blossoming of the reincarnation's fresh moonlight face. Thank you. So this Wednesday there will be a gathering in South Orange, New Jersey at 502 North Ridgewood Road, 7 o'clock in the evening. And then this Saturday, there will be the Tara Sadhana recitation in South Orange, New Jersey, Saturday at 1 o'clock. We take the 12:11 train from Penn Station and get out at Mountain Station and walk up the hill, and there we are. Thank you. Come see us again.